What's up, everybody? We're back. Bears are back. Back with a week one game preview for the Chicago Bears at home versus the Tennessee Titans. New quarterback. Team coming off a exciting offseason. The featured team of HBO's Hard Knocks and one of the media darlings this offseason for sure. It's an exciting time to be a Bears fan. It's time to see if all that excitement was worth it. Jack, where's your head at heading into week one here against the Tennessee Titans here at home?
Bears.
Bears.
We're back, baby. Feels great. I don't know. I'm very high on them this year. It was no secret my thoughts on Justin Fields for pretty much the entirety of his tenure. I think he's a fine guy, whatever. Good luck to him. Can't imagine his career lasts very much longer. But I couldn't be more excited for this year. What we've seen from Caleb Williams in the short glimpses that we've gotten. Um, I didn't watch Hard Knocks. I don't fuck with Hard Knocks. I think it's a terrible show. Felt that way for 5, 6 years, so I stopped watching. Didn't bother to tune in this year as well. Sounds like from what I heard, it was a total waste of time anyway. Sounded like it was horrible. Um, and I I don't know, man. I'm
Never
excited.
change, Big Jack.
But I can't wait to see Caleb Williams out there on Sunday, man. Truly, truly can't. Don't think there's been a time in my life where I've felt this way about the Bears ahead of a season. Even back when we had those stifling defenses, and maybe I'm sure it's got to do with like age and priorities in life. Where you're younger, you care about all type of shit. As you get older, uh, you're not playing sports yourself anymore. You're only following the teams you like and whatnot. So maybe that plays a big factor as well. But I'm big high on them this year. I love Caleb Williams. I love what he brings to the team. I like his uniqueness. I love that he owns it. He wears it. Um, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll be singing a different tune in about a month from now and calling him everything in the fucking book. But for today, going into week one against the Tennessee Titans, I am on a high of all highs. I think the world of the guy, and I don't know, man. I think the Bears have finally gotten one,
Oh,
and I hope
hell yeah.
I hope it proves to be the case. He is my offensive rookie of the year, super heavy favorite, plus 140. But I think it's a pretty easy bet, honestly. He stays healthy, he's going to be the best player. He's going to be the best offensive rookie for sure. And if not in the conversation of like, I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback out of the gate.
Yeah, man. I share a lot of your enthusiasm. It's not going to be all perfect, right? He's going to have some moments, but he seems to have the right makeup, at least from everything I can tell. And tell you what, seeing things like his release and how much he's improved already, just through some of the things you're seeing online, it looks like the guy's built for this stage. So we'll see. You touched on that offensive rookie of the year prop. I agree, he's a huge favorite, but it's still plus money. And I'm with you. If he's what he's supposed to be, he should be the strong heavy favorite. On the defensive side of the ball, if you look at the top bets, the top board options, the only guy from the Bears that's on the defensive player of the year bets that I can see at first glance is Montez Sweat. He's plus 3,000, which is only like eighth. So I mean, you're talking about favorites are guys like Micah Parsons at like plus 400. Sweat's at plus 3,000 just for what it's worth. Funny thing, I know you're not a huge fan of Flus. He is simultaneously favorites for coach of the year and the first coach to be fired. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about the Chicago Bears this year. And then if you just look at the wins futures and like the playoff futures, etc. Over under for wins over 8.5 is minus 160, 9.5 is plus 120. It's a big number. Playoffs minus to make the playoffs minus 110, to win the division plus 280. To win the conference and to make it to the Super Bowl is plus 1,500, and then to be Super Bowl champs is plus 3,500. No rookie quarterback has won more than one playoff game. Um, if we got a playoff appearance, a good-looking rookie quarterback, and a playoff win, man, you think there's excitement this year? There'll be even more next year. Um, I think it's like all kind of possible if this defense is what I think it is. I know you have reservations about it, especially up front, and I understand why. That being said, the back seven, it doesn't get better, in my opinion, than the back seven of our defense. I mean, we're up there with anybody. We're up there with the Ravens and I guess KC maybe you throw up there. Although Casey's got a few guys up front. Um, yeah, our front four. Would I love to add a piece? Yeah, I would, but I think that's going to be next year. We're going to have 3 picks in the first 2 rounds next year. I think we'll come in with some reinforcements next year. I think they've done a good job shaping up this roster. Um, you want to voice your concerns about that defense that maybe I feel a little more confident in than I know you feel.
I just think the back seven is incredibly devalued when the front four is giving the quarterback enough time to roll a blunt back there. I don't know, man. I'm very concerned. I obviously love Montez Sweat. He brought a lot of good things to this defense with the addition last year. I think he's bringing a lot of really good things in the locker room. Seems to be like there's probably some guys developing around him, which is great to see, and hopefully that is the case. But no, I do not love the way that this defense was built in any fashion. I think it's horribly constructed, to be quite frank. And their defensive line is terrible. That's just a fact. Montez Sweat is a stud, but if you're double teaming and even triple teaming Montez Sweat week in and week out to neutralize his abilities, what are those other guys going to do? Are they going to do anything? It remains to be seen. I hope I'm wrong about them, but they've shown me no reason not to think that they're going to be horrible. So, yeah, I'm very concerned with the defensive line. I don't know. There's no no way around it. It's a glaring hole that hasn't been addressed at all.
Are
So,
are you equally concerned about the offensive line, or are you feeling a little bit better about the offensive line than you feel about the defensive line?
I'm concerned about the offensive line, just because I don't think that Darnell Wright is very good. I don't think he's nearly as good as everyone else in Chicago seems to think he is for some reason. Maybe they are blind or something. They clearly don't watch the football games to have that opinion. They must just be like listening to clips of social media or some shit.
Yeah.
Um, Darnell Wright is not very good. He wasn't very good last year. We'll see if he improves this year. Hopefully he does. Big pick, bad pick, but we'll see what happens. The story's not written on him quite yet. Braxton Jones, if he's healthy, he's serviceable, but he's certainly not a top tier left tackle. I think he's okay. He's middling. We definitely need to improve there. I like our guards. I like Tevin Jenkins. I think he's could be a stud if he stays healthy. I like Nate Davis. I think Nate Davis is a good veteran guard. I think he's proven to be that throughout the course of his career. I know a lot of people have negative opinions on the guy because of his practice habits, his laziness or his perceived laziness. I don't really give a shit about any of that. I care about what happens on the field on Sunday. And I think he's a pretty damn good player. Center, I don't know. Don't feel great about center, but it's looked pretty clean in this preseason. At least I think with the Bates injury, it became pretty clear that Shelton was going to be the guy. So it seems like they've at least built up that chemistry. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Caleb Williams, like actually getting under center. According to what everyone says, he hasn't done it since he was in like fucking grade school. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not like down on the offensive line, but it's middling. I think if we have a top half, give me top 17 offensive line, I think it's okay because I believe that Caleb Williams is a guy who moves to throw, manipulates the pocket to throw,
For sure.
can do some special things with his legs. So that sort of works well in concert there. And I think he just is going to be better at getting rid of the ball. I think he's going to be willing to let it fly. He's going to throw it into those tight windows, those NFL windows where guys are very rarely what you would consider like open in college. I think he's a guy who's going to throw the ball, get it out on time, on schedule. And I think that, I'm hoping that Shane Waldron is a big part of what he's scheming for that sort of stuff to happen. So I think the operation around them, not to mention how drastically improved I believe we are in the sort of that skill position compartment. Um, but I just think it as a whole, the offense I'm not as worried about because of all those other factors that can make an offensive line more efficient than maybe they are on the surface level. But yeah, that defensive line, outside of Montez Sweat, Austin Booker, sure, he looked good against a bunch of guys who aren't on rosters anymore, but I don't really know what that means.
I gotcha. I share your concerns, but I think the rest of the team can make up for them, at least to the levels of my expectation. I don't expect that we're going to be challenging for a Super Bowl this year. I think this is a team that I'm hoping and thinking can make the playoffs, but is really building up for the coming years. And I think our trenches are good enough to do that. I agree that we will need to continue to upgrade those, but I think they'll be good enough for this year. Um, that being said, let's start talking about this week's game. The Titans come to town under new leadership. Vrabel's gone. They got Callahan as the coach. His dad also coming in to help with the offensive line. He's a legendary offensive line coach. Everybody talks about him. Bears come in for 4 point
Chicago
favorite.
guys, man, Chicago guys through and through. Bunch of nepotism in Tennessee, just going father son combo. Yeah, he was a big Illinois guy back in the day.
Okay.
I think he was like a GA down there, and then he was a coach down at U of I for a while before he flourished and had a long-lived NFL career. But yeah, they're gonna have some ties in Chicago. It's a big one for them, so we're gonna have to stick it to those boys.
We will. Bears are currently sitting at a 4 point favorite. Over under is 44.5. So that puts the score somewhere around like 24-21 in the eyes of the bookmakers. You know, to be honest, Jack, I look at this game when the schedules come out, whenever that was, a few months ago, and I'm thinking this is one that we got to come out and try to win. The closer we get to game day, I'm looking at the roster. I think Tennessee's tougher than I realized when you look at their roster. And I'm here thinking we just need collectively to get off to like a good start. If somehow we drop this, we got to bounce back type deal. Still would love to go out.
Nope, nope. You're so far
Still
gone.
would love to. Still would love to
So
get
far
out to a
gone.
win.
The Bears absolutely have to win this game. This is a must-win game. You're at home. You have to take care of business at home. If you want to be a playoff team in this division with the way that this schedule is backloaded, you lose this game, it's an absolute embarrassment. You cannot lose this game. You cannot limp into the season the way that they did last year, totally ill prepared, not ready to play football. This is an absolutely different situation. You are at home on Sunday at Soldier Field with all the positive things around this team, the way that they've looked leading into the season, the way that they looked at times at particular spots at the end of last season. They were finally starting to build on something despite the quarterback's horrendous, god awful, disgusting, pathetic, pitiful play. And they need to roll into this season with a win. You lose to the Titans, a team that's probably going to finish last place in their division at home to open week one. That's a fireable offense. Matt Eberflus will just be proving once again that he did absolutely nothing in the offseason if this team is not ready to play football on Sunday afternoon.
Well, there's your thoughts.
It's the truth, man. You're going against a rookie head coach, guy who's
I
never
agree.
been a head coach. This team, yeah, okay, their roster looks decent. They still have Will Levis, who is, a second-year quarterback. Their defense is they got Jeffrey Simmons and a bunch of nobodies. I don't know. If you cannot expect to, oh, well, if things go okay, but we drop this game. No, that would be a catastrophe. This cannot be a loss. There's no such thing as a quote unquote must win in week one. But if you lose this game, that is an absolute embarrassment, and the whole roster should be ashamed of themselves.
I agree with that. You should win this game. They should be ashamed if they lose. I agree with those things. They're 4-point favorites at home. It's the best Bears team outlook that we've had in quite some time. Um, do you have some keys to victory here this week? I know we've talked in the past having 3 keys to a Bears victory. Um, do you have any that come to mind that are sticking out to you? I know that it's a little tough going up against a first year head coach, a little bit of unknown team here in Tennessee, first game of the NFL season. But do you got any keys to a Bears victory this week?
Yeah, I could throw out. I could do the usual 3 keys if you wanted to go that route. One would be back to that defensive line. We're going to have to stop the run. The Bears were, as much shit as I just talked about that defensive line, they're decent against the run until that Packers game where they were just getting trounced. But if you stop the run, then you're going to have to force Will Levis to do something. Rookie, or excuse me, not rookie, second year quarterback, first year full time starter on the road. Force him to make some plays. Force him to have to be the guy. Don't let them run the ball. Don't let Tony Pollard get off, get some big plays. The guy's great in space. He's a playmaker. He's a boom type guy. Neutralize the run game. I'm not so concerned about calling the defensive line out as far as pressure on the quarterback, sacks, all that good stuff. Let's stop the run and make Will Levis have to be the guy to get something done for that offense.
Yeah, I love it. They were one of the best teams against the run last year defensively. Um, Tennessee's offensive line is still a work in progress as they try to rebuild that. They got Skoronski last year. They picked up Cushenberry in the offseason. He's all right at center. They add the left tackle from Alabama, Latham. So they got some pieces that long term might be good, but they're getting thrown to the fire here week one against this Bears defense. That defensive front, if there's ever a time to beat this offensive line, it's here week one as they start getting adjusted. I agree. Got to stop the run, and that defensive line's got to make some plays. What's your key number 2?
Key number 2, we'll go with, I sort of mentioned him already, Jeffrey Simmons, or Simons, however you properly say
I
the
think
guy's
Simmons
name.
is the way to say it, but either way.
Yeah. Um, you got to stop him, neutralize him at the line of scrimmage. He's about all they got, as far as I know. I can't pretend I'm the most knowledgeable Tennessee Titans guy out
Sure,
there,
sure.
but you got to take care of him. He is a monster. He is a top tier, probably top 5, if not certainly top 10 defensive lineman weapon that exists in this league. You got to take care of him. Do what you need to do. Get some trap blocks on him. Send some doubles his way. Whatever the case may be, that offensive line needs to be aware of him at all times, and they need to key on him. And I think that everyone else will be able to hold their own against the other matchups that exist all over the trenches there. But Jeffrey Simons is a dog, and we have to treat him as such, give him that respect, make sure we are ready to limit his ability to impact this game and wreck some of the hopefully positive drives that we try to get going there.
Yeah, he's definitely the biggest difference maker on that defensive side of the ball. He's doing it from the interior of that defensive line. It's going to be a test for the 2 guards that you talked about earlier that you like, Nate Davis and Tevin Jenkins, as well as Coleman Shelton there at the center position. Be that wall for in that comfort zone for Caleb Williams there in the middle of that pocket. Um, Yeah, I agree. That's going to be the biggest key on that defensive side of the ball for Tennessee. They picked up L'Jarius Sneed from Kansas City, who's a nice piece. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of a game record, you're probably a little bit more worried about Simmons. All right, Jack. Third key of the game.
Third and final key. I could go a couple ways with this one, I guess, or a couple ways of saying it rather. And I think it's going to be a theme of the entire season. I'll say for this week, I'll say sixes instead of threes. You got to get in the end zone. You got to convert red zone opportunities. I know we struggled with that a little bit in the preseason at times. Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with being a little more vanilla once you get down there, not wanting to give away too much. At least I'm hoping that's the case because we didn't look great in a couple of those situations, at least with the first string guys. You got to score touchdowns in this league. Be aggressive if you have to. Don't be afraid to go for it on some of those fourth and short, fourth and gettable type situations. If you believe in this defense at all, as your head coach Matt Eberflus, you're running the defense again. Put a little faith in this offense. Put a little faith in these weapons. Let Shane Waldron, concoct some things, have some stuff up your sleeve. You got to be able to convert when you get down in those red zone opportunities. Need to get in the end zone. This team has got to be scoring points. That's whole part of this new age Bears offense. We're excited about the offense. This is never the case with the Bears. It's always defense, run the ball. This is different. This is new age. I'm expecting a lot of good things on the offensive side of the ball. Got to score points all year long. And that starts this week with getting 6 instead of 3 every opportunity we can.
I love that. I love that key to victory. All right, Jack's 3 keys to victory: stop the run on the defense side of the ball, neutralize Jeffrey Simmons, and turn those drives into touchdowns instead of field goals at the end there. Get sixes instead of threes. Jack, I love where your head's at with those keys. One other thing I'm personally going to be looking at a lot these first few weeks. I'm curious to see how DeAndre Swift changes that Bears backfield. He gives them a different element that they haven't really had in a few years. A little more of a scat back, receiving option out of the backfield, a little bit stronger in that regard than Herbert or Roshan offer the Bears. He also seems to have a different gear than those guys have. So they went out and got him like first thing in free agency. So and they paid him handsomely. So I'm assuming they're excited about what he brings to the team and that element that he can provide them that they didn't have before. So I'm kind of curious to see how DeAndre Swift integrates himself into this. Is integrated into the game plan.
Yeah, he was a very intentional target. It seemed like for them. So that's fair points. I don't know. The last depth chart I was looking at had Velus Jones as RB1. So I don't know if I didn't even see Swift anywhere in the picture, but maybe he'll get some touches.
All right. This week, Bears -4. You like the Bears with the points, or are you staying off this game? You like the over/under 44.5? Where's your head at?
Yeah, betting wise, I think Bears games are always tough because you just always want to bet the Bears. I kind of like the over in the game. I guess if anything, I like the Bears. Let's go Bears team over maybe rather than the total over.
Okay.
If I was like gonna make a play, I'm not betting the game. At least I'm not on it currently.
Sure.
But yeah, take a side. The Bears got to win this game. I don't care if it's by 1 point or 21 points. As long as they win, I'll be thrilled. I just I don't know where this game's going to fall. Part of me thinks they kill them, but that could be a little more hype, wishful thinking type vibes. What about you?
Yeah, you get worried about week 1. Only 4 points, 3 in the hook at best is what I've seen. If I had to pick, I bet the Bears. I'd probably also bet the over on this one. Yeah, I'd bet the Bears for sure. But I'm fully expecting them to go out and take care of business. I want them to get a win here. It would be the first win by a rookie quarterback, unless one of the other rookies do it this weekend, since 2018. But I think if there's a spot to do it, it's right here against a first-year head coach, second-year quarterback, a team that, like you said, should finish probably last in their division. I like the Bears to win. I'll go 26, 26 to 16 Bears. Except
Wow.
that's the under. I'll go 26-20 Bears.
Wow. I love it. I love the touchdown win there. I The only thing I'm concerned about is well, I guess maybe concerned is the wrong way to put it. But I don't know if what is the over? It's
44 and a
44,
half.
44 and a half. I don't know. I feel like if the Bears give up more than 17 points, I would be fairly upset with that situation. But anyway, to keep the one thing to keep in mind, though, I guess it's more big picture than this week necessarily about your comment regarding Caleb Williams and like the rookie quarterbacks not winning for X amount of time, is that he still is a rookie, regardless of how highly we think of him and expect from him. There are going to be growing pains. Like
Yep.
that's just the reality of the situation. They're not going to go 17-0. He's not going to throw for 400 yards a game. There's going to be some ugly ones. That's just part of it. But I hope that we are able to see like noticeable uh, differences, like you saw in the preseason. You know, you saw certain things that you were like, all right, that didn't look so good. But then you could tell, you know, just the way he is out there overall. You got a good vibe that you can know he could be a guy in this league. So I think that's something to keep in mind, more big picture as the season progresses. Like he's a rookie. There's going to be some shit that happens along the way. So hopefully everyone understands that doesn't get too high or too low, depending on the outcomes week to week. Um, do you have anything big picture wise you would like? Do you like the Bears over for the season? Do you like them to make the playoffs? Division winner? Anything like that?
I don't like division winner. I think it's tough. It's a 3 horse race. And they're probably the third horse right now. I don't hate making the playoffs at minus 110. They just got to beat one of those other two teams in the division, realistically. I do like that Caleb Williams plus 135 rookie of the year. It's plus money, and he's the huge favorite. Um, and then just with the wins, 8.5 is minus 160. I'm not going to bet that, so I'd have to go all the way to betting them to get to 10. I mean, I haven't bet it yet, so I don't know. Big picture wise, I think they're. I would be very upset if they won anything less than 9 games. I will be very disappointed. And yes, Caleb's a rookie, and he's going to have growing pains. But a lot of these rookie quarterbacks, they get drafted by bad teams, and I just think this team's more than a bad team. I personally think the defense is good, and with a few additions in coming years, can be really, really good. And then they got enough skill going around where I think it would be just whatever the opposite of a master class is. It would be a coaching catastrophe, I guess, if they won anything less than 9 games, in my opinion. For sure, anything less than 8 games. So I'm expecting them to push for the playoffs this year. I really am. Um, am I expecting anything beyond that? No, not really.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think schedule wise, if everything goes like perfect, maybe they can rip like an 11-6. But I think 10 is probably a more realistic ceiling, which 10-7 would be awesome. And I do think I guess futures wise, my favorite play would be to ride. Saw even money for them to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And I think 10-7 guarantees that spot. 9-8 with the new format, probably more of a coin flip, but you're still certainly in the hunt. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're a playoff team. I got a good feeling. You know, it's not perfect, far from perfect, as we alluded to, or at least that I certainly alluded to. I have plenty of concerns and issues still with the roster as currently constructed. But yeah, I think playoffs at even money. Um, I think that's a solid play.
All right. Score prediction for Sunday.
Score prediction Sunday. I'm gonna go Bears. I'm gonna go Bears blow the brakes off. I'm gonna say 31-13.
Wow. All right. So we both got Bears winners. We both got Bears covering the spread. Jack with an absolute blowout victory, which would be sweet. Everybody enjoyed it at home. Football season's back. I'll be at the stadium. Can't wait. Jack, any last thoughts for the viewers out there?
Oh man, feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. Cannot wait for Sunday.
Oh yeah. All right. Hit it for him one time.
Mm, Bears.
Bears.